AI demand didn't just grow, it crossed a line. And when that happens, systems don't slow down, they break. What just broke is not the chips, it's the system that connects them. Right now, most people are focused on AI chips. They're watching NVIDIA, GPUs, and compute power. That's where the headlines are, but that's no longer where the constraint is. Because compute didn't fail, the system around it did. AI is not one piece of technology, it's a stack. You have compute at the top, networking and interconnect in the middle, which is transceivers turning electrical data signals to light. And underneath that, you have optical layer that actually moves the data, such as lasers. Now let's go to this graph. This is how AI data moves and where bottleneck is. First, you have the AI servers, which is NVIDIA and AMD. They're making the chips and they're making the stacks. Next, you have the networks, which is the Broadcom. Switch chips route data between the GPUs. Next, you have the transceivers, which turn the electrical signals into light. And here, let's look at the transceivers. This is a transceiver. You have the transmitter and the modulator, and then the laser. And the laser turns the electrical signals into light and moves it to optical signals, which sends the data to the other GPUs. And it's a lot faster to turn the electrical signals to light and move it basically on a highway to the other GPUs. And then it does the same going back, the receiver. The transceiver is made by Lumentum and Coherent, basically, and then Applied Optical Electronics also makes them. And then next you have the fiber optic cables, which is the information highway. And then the lasers is the bottleneck, which is there's a demand for 2 million units and they're only making 600,000 unit supply. And that's Sivers, Lumentum, Coherent, they all make lasers. And then you have the chips. So the bottom line, AI isn't limited by compute, it's limited by how fast the data can move from the GPUs to each GPU. The laser supply is the #1 bottleneck holding back the AI revolution. And then solving the gap is a massive opportunity. Most people are focused on the stack, but the real constraint is deeper because the way data moves has fundamentally changed. It used to move electronically, and now it moves as light. So now let's go to this sheet. 2 million units are what's in demand. And there's only 600,000 lasers. This is the supply. So there's a massive laser shortage supply. So that's what we're talking about. And this is where the system breaks, because to move data as light, you need high performance optical lasers. And right now there are not enough. So demand is pushing towards roughly 2 million units, as we just said. And supply is closer to 600,000 units. That is not a normal shortage. This is a structural constraint because infrastructure doesn't fail gradually. It hits a wall, and AI just hit that wall. So when a system hits a constraint like this, companies don't wait, they react. The largest companies move first. Companies like Broadcom, Meta, and Microsoft don't compete for supply the way smaller companies do. They secure it. They sign long-term agreements. And they reserve production capacity. And they make sure their infrastructure keeps running. And when they do that, the shortage doesn't go away. It actually gets worse for everyone else. So now we go to Sivers. the Sivers advantage, because even after locking supply, demand is still growing, and that's when the system starts pulling in additional suppliers. Companies like Sivers Semiconductors become relevant, not because they are suddenly discovered, but because the system needs more capacity. And this is how supply chains evolve under pressure, not gradually, reactively. And this creates something the market isn't fully pricing in yet. Friction. AI doesn't stop growing, but it doesn't scale smoothly either. You start to see delays, uneven deployment, and constraints across different parts of the system. Because even if you have the compute, you still need to connect it. This is not just a technology story. This is a supply chain shift. Most investors are focused on the front end of AI, the models, the chips, the applications, but the real leverage is in the infrastructure that makes all of it work. So at the moment, there are only a small number of companies in the world that supply lasers. And that is Lumentum, Coherent, and Sivers. Lumentum is the leader in the space. Coherent is basically number 2, and those are the major players. And then Sivers is a very small microcap. And that's why this moment matters, because when a system breaks, the companies that help fix it don't stay hidden for long. And this is where things get interesting, because the biggest opportunities are not always where the attention is. They are often one layer below, in the parts of the system that people don't fully understand yet. AI did not slow down. It's just hit its first real constraint. And when that happens, everything downstream changes. So if you want to dig deeper into Sivers Semiconductors or break down another company in this stack, just let me know. And if you are getting value from these videos and want more in-depth breakdowns and updates, you can join the membership at buymeacoffee.com. The link is in the description. This is a disclaimer, just for educational and entertainment purposes only, and it's not financial advice, and we'll see you in the next one.